So, do you want this title animation? If so, you can grab the project file, textures, and shapes from the description below. Let's start by adding this paper texture and scaling it down. Then, apply a tint effect to make it fully black and white. Then add an invert. Next up, add this half-tone texture, scale it down, and change the blend mode to Silhouette Luma. After that, add this paper texture, scale it down, and change the blend mode to screen. Now add this paper texture and change the blend mode to screen. Now select all and pre-compose it. Change the name to paper and hit OK. Time for some text. I'm using the Milanese serif font, setting the color to off-white and setting this value to -63. Now select this and change the size to 146. Select this and change its size to 217 and set its font style to black. Now select the text and align it to the center. Now for the Chinese text, open your browser, translate the text to Chinese, copy it and paste it into After Effects. For the font, I am using Unbounded Sans. Now change the font size to 200, set this value to 0 and set this value to 164. Now follow me. Now we need to place it here. Before that, we need to add rulers here for the text and shapes we add later. For that, I made a solid layer with masks as lines for the rulers. Now press Ctrl+R and add the rulers. Now select the text, place it between these rulers, and align it vertically. Now for the stroke, select this pen tool and make a shape layer like this. The size is 258 and the color is this shaded red. Now change its blending mode to screen. Now press P for position and adjust it. Now add roughen edges and follow me. Hold Alt and click on this stopwatch. Type Posterize Time (3), press Enter, and type time *400. Now duplicate it. Set the scale value to 16 and increase the scale width, height, and border. Now add turbulent displacement. Set the amount to 10 and the size to 30. Hold Alt and click on this stopwatch. Then copy the previous expression and paste it here. Now duplicate the turbulent displacement and change the amount to 30 and the size to 2. Select the text layer and add the typewriter preset. Press U to view keyframes and place the keyframe here. Now open your text layer, click on this arrow and click on position. Now click on this arrow, go to the selector and click on wiggly. Open the wiggle selector and set these values to 0. Set this value to 1 and set this value to 2. Now hold Alt and click on this stopwatch. Paste the previous expression, select this expression and type random 400. Now select this text layer, copy animations 1 and 2 and paste them into this text layer. Open the stroke layer, click on this arrow and add trim paths. Open up trim paths, add a keyframe, place it here and change the value to 0. Select those keyframes and press F9 to easy ease them. Go to the graph editor and do a mid-graph right here. Now toggle the modes, toggle this shy switch and click on this to hide layers. Now add this shape layer here. Place it above all the layers and add the fill effect. Copy the color of the previous text and paste it on the fill effect. Set the scale value to 0.8 and place it here. Now add this shape layer and scale it down. So we don't need this. So select the rectangle tool and mask it out. Set the scale value to 2.5 and place it here. Now copy the fill effect and paste it on this shape. Now duplicate this layer and place it above. Select this shape layer, hold Alt, and place it here. So we don't need to scale it down or add the fill effect again to the shape layer. Now place the shape layer here and change the scale value to 0.7. Now select the text tool, make a text box here, and type some random text for the details. Change the font to Milanese Serif Extra Bold, change the font size to 23, and change this value to 0. Now place the text here. Now add this shape layer, set the value to 7, and place it here. Now follow the process. Now select all the layers and change the label color to blue. Duplicate this shape layer, place it above, and change the label color to red and place it on the bottom. Now duplicate this shape layer and place it here. Change the text to whatever you like. Now follow the process. T for opacity and add a keyframe. Then go to 5 frames forward and place the keyframe here. Then go to the beginning of the layer and set the value to 0. Now copy those keyframes and paste them into every shape layer. Now select the text, add the typewriter preset, and go to 10 frames forward. Then place the keyframe here. Now select the layer, search for animation, copy the animation, and place it on other text layers. Now I want the texts and shapes to animate from left to right. To do that, select all the keyframes, except the last one, and drag them 2 frames forward. Now continue the process. Now select all the layers, pre-compose them, and name their details. Click on this to show the other layers. Duplicate this layer and name it Matte. Now toggle modes, change this text's matte to matte, and select Luma Matte. Now the text is gone because the matte we created doesn't have any information. It's fully black, so add an invert to make it white. Now add curves to bring up the details, and copy my curve. Now change the other layers to matte too. Now add turbulent displacement to the text layer and change the amount to 30 and the size to 3. Now hold Alt and click on this stopwatch and type Posterize Time (3), press Enter and type Time *400. So this effect gives the text a little bit of texture. Copy the effect and paste it on the text and details layer. Select the details layer and change the amount to 20 and the size to 2. Now select this text layer and add a displacement map. First, we need to make the map. To do that, duplicate the matte layer and name it Map, then go to the text layer, select the map we created, and change the source to Effect and Mask. Set the horizontal and vertical displacements to 20. Now go to the map layer and adjust the curves to your needs. If you disable this displacement map, you can see that the text is disoriented. To fix this, add rulers here. Enable the effect and place the text between those rulers. Now copy the effect and continue the process. For the details layer, I'm going to change the values to 6 and 6. Then adjust the layer. Now select these layers, hide those maps and matte layers, and pre-compose them. Now add 2 nulls. Select those layers and parent them to the second null, and parent the second null to the first null. Now separate this layer and scale it down to 65. Now select this null and add a keyframe to the scale, then go to 1 second forward and scale it. Select those keyframes, press F9, and make a mid-graph right here. Now select this null and add a keyframe, then drag it to 1 frame before the layer. Change the value to 110 and place it 1 frame after the layer. Add this paper texture here, scale it down a little bit, then go 4 frames forward, cut it, and delete it. Duplicate this layer, hold Shift, and place it here, then rotate and scale it for a different look. Now pre-compose those layers and name it Texture. Now press Ctrl plus Alt plus T to enable time remapping, then go back 1 frame from the last keyframe and add a keyframe, then delete the last keyframe. Now hold Alt and click on this stopwatch, click on this arrow, go to Property, and click on this expression. Now toggle the modes and change the blend mode to screen. You can see that the texture is so fast, so drag the last keyframe forward to make it slow. Now add curves to control the intensity of the texture and adjust it to your needs. Now duplicate the texture, add invert, and change the blending mode to screen, then rotate it 180 degrees for a different look. Now add a solid and name it Dust. Add fractal noise to the solid and copy my values. Hold Alt and click on this stopwatch and type Posterize Time (6), press Enter, and type Time *400. Change its blend mode to Multiply. Now duplicate it and add Invert, then change the blend mode to Screen and rotate for a different look. Now add another solid and name it Grain. Add Grain to the layer, change the preview to Final Output, and I'm going to choose this preset. Open up the animation and change the speed to 0.6. Then I'm going to add Tint to make it black and white. Now pre-compose it and change the blend mode to Overlay, and I'm going to duplicate it 2 times because I like it more grainy. Now add an adjustment layer for the camera shake and rename it, then add Transform. change the scale value to 101 and hold Alt and click on this stopwatch and type Posterize Time parenthesis 6. Press Enter and type Wiggle parenthesis 222,2. Now add another adjustment layer for the flicker and add exposure. Set the value to -0.2 and hold Alt and click on this stopwatch, then type Posterize Time parenthesis 6, press Enter and type Wiggle parenthesis 30,0.2. Now duplicate the exposure, hold Alt and click on this stopwatch to remove the expression and increase the exposure a little bit. Now add another adjustment layer for the vignette, select the ellipse tool and double-click on it, add exposure, decrease it a little bit, and invert the mask. Press F and feather the mask, then duplicate the layer and invert the mask, then increase the exposure. Now add another adjustment layer for Sharpen. Add the Sharpen effect and set the value to 20. Now add another adjustment layer for Posterize Time. Add the Posterize Time effect and set the value to 12. Now add an adjustment layer here and add camera lens blur, then set the value to 30, then select this null layer and check where the mid-graph hits and add there a keyframe, then go back 2 frames, change the value to 0, then go back 3 frames, change the value to 12, go to the beginning, change the value to 0, then go forward 4 frames from the last keyframe and set the value back to 0. And there you have it. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.